spec. Good morning with Mark Lenci of the yacht Sunflower. And I think we probably, for this year's Bermuda Race, probably know your journey best because you were actually sending out photos and videos and updates using the KVS SAT system, but we will get to that in a minute. So you were on a Beneteau 52-footer.
Yep.
This is definitely a cruiser.
Cruising boat,
yeah,
absolutely.
You're
Racer
squarely
cruiser.
in the Finisterre division, yeah.
Yes.
And so what was your race like?
I think I have to I'll give you the punchline first. In my, embarrassing to admit since I was 10 years old sailing how long that is, this was unequivocally the absolute best sailing experience of my life, hands down.
Exclamation point, right?
Exclamation point. And it's fundamentally because this is a race for all people. You can actually think of it as 4 races for, depending on the type of boat, the crew composition, you can pick a division that's best suited for you, for us cruising. This crew we've built up over 8 years, Marion Bermuda races, Newport Bermuda races, and we were absolutely peaked. Boat was peaked, crew was peaked, morale was absolutely out of the top high, and it stayed that way the entire race.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it was just, this is the kind of experience, once in a lifetime memories. It's the things that make the younger people say, I'm doing it. So it was a great race for us overall.
That's awesome. We were commenting the other day that of actually how many racer cruisers or whatever are in this fleet. If you were to do the percentage, what do you think this time?
Well, we're 42 of 200, so let's round to 50, so 25%.
Yeah.
20 to 25%, which is about the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just cool. It's this thing out here is like a boat show of
Right.
cool boats and the potential of what you can do with your boat.
And the Cruising Club of America being one of the race organizers, and the foundation of this race, 1906, the whole purpose of why the Newport Bermuda race was started in the age of, John Rockefeller being the only guy who could field a boat that's transoceanic, it was to prove that the average man with a standard boat, properly outfitted with the right skills, could safely run an ocean race. That's what started the Newport Bermuda race. It's what we're still all about.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so on the Yacht Sunflower, what was highlights and lowlights?
Highlights, we ran a great crew, great race. Everything worked. Like everybody else, there's the minor stuff. We didn't have any major, we didn't blow out any sails or break anything like that. So boat performed superbly. Crew was right on top, and we felt super prepared. It was a really different race than I've done a lot of them. And that who would have ever thought that we would have used the spinnaker almost as much as the mainsail? You never would think that. This is the first race I've run to Bermuda where it's been downwind. So sailing-wise, we got a lot more time really sailing a spinnaker day and night. That's a very demanding way to run, and particularly with gusts like we had. So that was really different. Fast when it was fast. We did hit a couple wind holes in there that slow, even a spinnaker couldn't help you. But the rest of the time it was pretty fast downwind race most of the time. So a lot of how to sail in light wind, downwind, and we had in the middle what was significant weather. I would say challenging, but if you're prepared, it was good. Yeah.
Those little light wind holes, though, sometimes are, as much as they're frustrating to get to the finish, do you find, though, they are actually really, they come at the right time when you just need to take it down a notch and kind of recalibrate everybody? And
not my guys. That's the last thing they wanted.
No park up sail.
Yeah, we had with a cruiser, we can carry a bigger crew. Yeah. So we have 3 to 4 people on watch. We can handle that. We can still get enough sleep. And a cruiser, my boat, they took showers. We have a water maker. That's a cruising class. So
what was the air conditioning set up?
Yeah, no air conditioning. Got to run the generator for that.
Come on.
So, they would have loved to just continuously see the stronger winds.
Yeah,
really, because again, we were in great shape, ready to do this, and so they found the light wind a little frustrating. But on the other hand, you can really work on finessing your sail trim in that. A lot of people can sail in high wind. To make your boat move in slow wind, you really got to be on top of it. So we all learned, like we always do on these races, things you never thought of, and do experiments with your sails and keep squeezing every second, every knot you can get out of it.
How many times have you done the race?
7.
Okay.
Well, 7 Bermuda races. 2 of them were Marion races. And
so your mindset is always going to this thing like at some point you're going to have to go upwind, right? Or at least it's a part of the element. And but as you got closer to the start and the models are starting to show, ooh, this is gonna be a fun downwind one.
Yeah.
Did you sort of have to shift your mentality and also then maybe your sail inventory of going like, whoa, this is going to be different?
In a cruising class, seldom do we shift our sail inventory.
This is true, right?
we're limited. That's one of the characteristics
That's
of
right.
that division is, and again, it's to make these 4 different divisions very distinct. Yeah. So if you're not in running a program where you're going to have multiple sails on the crew to run it, and that. Is you go to the cruising division, we have the set of sails.
Yeah, that's it. Man. It's on a reveller and go
this or nothing.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to tailor that. But how we were going to sail it, watch standing, we started emphasizing the downwind sailing. So yeah, you bet we started tuning in about Tuesday before the race. We said, not well, it's like, wow, this will be really different. Looking forward to it.
Cool. One of the challenges right of this race in its many years is that sharing the experience while it's happening, right? You got so many friends and families that wondering what's happening, and we've got the first great edition of the Yellow Brick Tracker, which is finally now everybody knows what's happening. But the missing piece has always been the storytelling from the boats, and it's those who can send in the occasional texts, finds, and photos, and things like that. But you partnered with KVH for this race. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Let's step into the Wayback Machine for a minute so you get the total background of what I'm about to say here. Is that in my previous life, I was a nuclear submarine commander and then went on to be the first, what now is called CIO of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. And that was in 1995 to 2000, when, if those of you that were even born then, that's when Windows 95, AOL, on it. And I think my total qualification was that I was the only Navy captain who had ever sent an AOL email, and therefore I became the CIO of the fleet. But despite 20-some years of submarining, actually my biggest contribution to the U.S. Navy was introducing satellite internet to the fleet.
Oh, cool.
So we were in the very lead of this, including I purchased satellite systems and set this up and figured out how we were going to do this internet to connect all our vessels, revolutionized military operations. Oh, so I've been a huge believer. The difference between low data rate to our ships and rich information flow is winning or losing. So I'm a huge believer in the communications in this. And Sunflower was actually an original KVH case study back in 2008. Nobody thought you could put a 24-inch satellite dish on a cruising boat. I worked for Microsoft. Bill Gates thought we could, so we did. I had a floating office, 2 phone lines, and internet on my sailboat. Awesome. So from that experience, I've become convinced that I can probably make a very convincing argument that robust internet is moving now to the category of safety of ship. Our ability to get weather, all the richness that comes with the graphics, the details, ability to immediately pick up the phone and say, I need this part, I've got this going on, I hear this on the radio. It's really moving to where it's now, the costs have been driven down much to within reach. Our whole internet broadband system, the KVH V30 that we have, is less than any of my sails, on my boat. So when skippers say, oh, I don't want to go with this broadband system, too complex, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, how much you pay for that spinnaker?
That you just blew up? Yeah.
You just blew up. Okay, it's 2/3 of the spinnaker you just blew up. It's got a box and it has one button on it, on, off. Really technical. What do you think, Skipper? You think you can run this thing?
Yeah.
And the robustness of it, what we saw out here when it did get really high cloud cover, which does interfere with satellite propagation and heavy waves. The Iridium-based dial-up phone systems were really tough to hold a connection, whereas our broadband satellite tracking internet, we went right through the whole thing, had robust internet the entire time. the value of that is just you can't put a dollar figure on it. And I think what we're going to see is more and more of the broadband systems, because they're so easy to run now. They're so robust, and it's really a safety issue. And if you're a cruiser, you have to go away for 2 months. How do you keep your life running? How do you do your banking? All that. It's like being at home on your internet. It's that good. Yeah. Almost no phone delay. The new Intelsat high throughput satellites that are the satellite part of the KVH network have such a good throughput. Then the time delays are down to, you'd be difficult to tell it's a satellite call when you get it. And it's like you pick up your phone, it's just like your phone on your cell phone. No weird numbers through, east somewhere. Yeah. So it's really, really important technology, and it's not just the OG whiz. It's how you win races. It's how you safely operate the boat. It's how you avoid storms. It's like planning it sitting in your office. Yeah. So I'm a huge believer in this stuff. The V30 that's on this boat, I have 2 boats, are both on it. Safety ship.
Yeah. I'll play devil's advocate as a parent of children, though. One of the beautiful things about this race is sort of the disconnect, right?
Yep.
So you just got to put a lock on it. Yeah.
No
social media, no Instagram, right?
Actually, that's exactly
right?
what they do. It's advanced so far. KVH gives you through their portal. I can see exactly how much bandwidth we're using. I can pick the types of traffic and who can use it for what. Yeah. So we obviously we did no social media. I actually turn off web browsing. That's the biggest consumption of bandwidth because of all the ads and crap that comes down.
Yeah, it's loaded.
So we block that except when needed if we had to web browse for something. And so you can totally control that. And you can, my crew, I have everybody turn the phones off. If we're going to use the satellite internet, we have a dedicated device to do that all stripped out, so we're not updating software and stuff like that. So not a problem. You'll stay very disconnected.
That's cool, because that is the best part of it. But the true benefit, right, is also then what you guys were doing with your own feed, which is all on the Bermuda Race site, of just sending these beautiful clips of like, here's what's going on here, and that's been the missing piece.
We have since 2009, when we're sailing, every day we put up one picture and one text thing of what we're doing. And so everybody's used to that with us. And this is the first time we had the V30, because that's a new system, that we've uploaded video clips. We got it good into video compression, and you can take, with the new cameras and stuff you have, you can really get great videos at low file size. So I was putting up 2 30-second clips per day, and the feedback from everybody, we had 900 different looks at our site, and that's a controlled group. We don't let everybody look.
Friends and family.
Friends and family. And they all said it was unmatched. How do you describe, we had 12 to 15 foot waves for some period of time out there. How do you describe what it's like to be on a 52-foot boat with a 15-foot wave? Well, if you sit there with your camera and the boat goes up and then goes down in a wave, and the wave is higher than your arch behind you, you're like, okay, that's a wave. And if you've never been out there and seen that, the video clip is worth a million words, right? Yeah. Or what's it like trimming a spinnaker? Or what's a meal like? What does a navigator do? You can actually show all that in so much richer detail. So we got super feedback from everybody that did it.
That's awesome. What was your workflow to get the content off the boat? Let's take, for example, one of these 30-second clips.
Somebody shot it. I usually did it, but sometimes I was off watch or asleep when the event occurred, and we had a video camera ready to go, because we had one that had for wind, puff ball around
we call it the fuzzy cat. Yep.
So you could really see it. So we went to using that. They would shoot it, tell me they had a video clip when I came on watch, and I was going to do other check email, because I was also the vice chairman, and I'd be watching the race stuff. I would take the video off, do the compression, maybe put a few words about it off, and then send it off to the media team and we have a person ashore managing our blog, and he would put, along with where we were, put it up on our blog, and everybody could get it.
That's cool. So were you compressing? Do you have to compress the video files? So
It's-
you zip them or?
Not zip them.
Yeah.
We use an open source piece of software that reduces a factor of about 6. So that drops them down in the 10 megabyte range, 6 to 10 megabytes, and that we can handle.
Yeah.
Now, that kind of gives you a perspective. If anybody's out there that has using a dial-up cell phone, they're like 10 megabytes. I don't use that in the summer, and we're sending it off, in a 30
Twice a day.
Yeah, twice a day with no problem.
Yeah.
That is how dramatically different this is. It is just huge.
That's cool. Well, that brings up another sort of thought I just had, that you are obviously the vice chairman.
Yep.
Which means you're in charge of the next race.
I am.
But
well, there's still 2 days. I could do something wrong seriously wrong between here and there.
But the only downside, right, of being the chairman, for the next race is that you can't sail the race.
Yeah.
But the only reason you can't sail the race is because you need to manage it. You need to be on top and connected to it. So with this ability, for the first time ever in history, could you sail the race and run it from the boat?
We've discussed that,
Yeah,
and we're actually
Probably a no.
as we looked at events. It's not a technology question. It's a judgment question.
Yeah.
With the experiences we had this time, there are certain human interfaces that might be appropriate to have the chair ashore. Because I had intended to race the next race.
Yeah.
I've changed my mind based on events.
Yeah.
And talk in our postmortem here. We're also going to look at what key individuals do we need to have robust comms with, and what does that mean, and access if a key individual's not available, or could be a device is not available to us, where we need to get information that has been protected. How can we get it if we need it? So we're looking at that, and I will probably designate 1 or 2 people that I want to have ashore, or not necessarily ashore, but Bermuda, U.S., start line, a couple of key places that we need to physically have our eyeball on the spot right then. And so I'm going to stay ashore on this one. My vice chair will race, and I'm good with that. But I will work to get those. If the key individual is going to race, they're going to have a broadband internet system on them, so we can get them. We'll get them when we need them.
Well, I guess then it's fitting that since you have to sit the next one out, that you had the glory run down here.
Yeah, it is.
You could just sit back and savor that one for the next couple of years, and then you're back in 2026, right? Yeah.
2024. Yeah, and then a race in 6. Yeah.
Yeah, you would race in 6, right?
Yeah.
Well, as the incoming, then I know it's probably getting ahead of it. What's your vision for the next race? So, I'm going to put you on the spot here. How do you keep improving it? And
I think that's right. You got to look at it. Being in the military, we look at things from we're the long line, and for 200 years, what should continue? Some things appropriately belong buried and not ever seen again, right? Same deal here. Technology continuously advances. So one of the areas we're working on, and the choice of some of the key leaders that are going to be with me, we want to address where technology is enabling other options, how to properly let that come, because we're not going to stop that advance, nor should we. Right? So how do we properly do that to keep the playing field level, yet take advantage of it? So we have a couple of key areas in technology. Some of it's sailing, a lot of it's the navigation and communications technology. So and we'll have a guidance out by this October, because we're only a year from publishing the notice of race for the next one.
And it comes up fast.
It does. And so we really have to thoroughly look and vet this with a lot of people around the world before we put these things out. Believe it or not, we really think hard before we
I bet you do.
move things.
Yeah,
So that's one aspect. The next aspect is we want to drive and remind everybody, reinforce capture these experiences here, and remember why we race. This is a race that spans the spectrum. It was founded to push forward the development of the seamanship and technologies and safe sailing and boats that can do ocean races. And we got to keep encouraging that, bringing younger people in behind. So how do we do that? You know, we've got a couple good ideas, I think, and there's more to be explored in ensuring we take the good lessons of the past, get them out. And then my challenge is, and I'm looking for feedback from captains. Okay, in the next 2 years, Captain, you could pick up the phone and talk to me, the chairman, anytime you want. Now, how do I, but you know what? Hey, it's 2 years off, you're not thinking about it anymore. Well, I am.
now's the time to put up the
Now's
phone.
the time to talk to me.
Yeah.
So if I could ask for one thing, it's for the skipper owners to pick up the phone and talk to me. I mean, it's not like I'm unavailable.
Yeah.
And let's talk about what you thought, what you would like to see. I have skippers I know that I've been bouncing stuff off of, as the vice chair for this race and as the chair for the next race.
Cool. So you can look at the camera and say, Captain, call me.
Captains, call me. I'm on the end of a phone. If you want to write a lengthy email, great, but let's just talk. Or if you're somewhere where I am, come see me. And now's the time. Before about February of 2023, only 6 months away, things start to already gel for the notice of race. So let's talk now about any of the big items so that we can do something, research them, bounce them, get back, and I will take each and every one seriously, and we will get back to you on each and every piece of feedback I get. That's a promise. So please call.
And he will get you a dark and stormy when you get to Bermuda.
That's for sure.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Great to chat with you. And congrats on finishing a great race. And
Yeah.
I will see you in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's right.